Hey guys, welcome to another episode. In this one, we're going to focus on blueprint interfaces. This is, again, for like the third episode in a row, something that I never really implemented in my prior projects. But I know it's something that can be highly valuable. So we're going to just have to learn it. Um, and then, like normal, I'm going to pull up what is a blueprint interface because they can explain it better than I can. Um, let's see, what is Blueprint Interface UE5? I have a general sense. So let's start with the definition, and then we can see how we can use it in connection with the work that we've done so far. So what is Blueprint Interface UE5? A blueprint interface is a powerful system for communication between different actors, letting them share functionality without direct references, like a universal how to interact or take damage message that any object, a door or enemy or item, can understand and respond to in its own unique way, simplifying complex interactions and preventing messy casting. It's a set of function definitions that you add to various blueprints, allowing them to speak the same language for common actions. So how it works, some steps, key benefits, decoupling, scalability, performance, and common actions. This is what I've seen many times. So what that means in practice, um, they're talking about communicating between, it said like examples, doors or enemies and stuff. So right now it doesn't look like it, but if you remember in the last episode, we have the newest version of Unreal Engine 5.7.1 at this time of recording. And the marketplace assets, most of them have not been updated or approved yet by Epic. So right now we're using these placeholders, but basically these are supposed to be different characters. They're character blueprints. This arrow, geometry, and this Christmas tree lane. So if we pretend that these are all characters, and then if we can pretend like, let's say these characters are walking off the platform, and then maybe, for example, these different areas would then be, I don't know, like shooting bullets or something at these different characters. Then what's happening there is these weapon walls shooting at these characters is a action between two blueprints, because a blueprint is something in Unreal with logic, versus like right now they're currently static meshes, but we're just using our imagination. So in order for two blueprints to talk to each other, there's a few different ways, but the way that we're going to focus on today is blueprint interface. And what I want to do in my project is use blueprint interfaces in a few different ways in the battle system. I want, for example, blueprint interfaces to notify that my action time bar is complete, and then therefore send a message to the widget and the character whose turn it is, because that happens so many times in battle and I want it to be modular. And then also things like action buttons. I want those to be used with blueprint interfaces, so you can select, for example, attack or magic or item. In a sense, a lot of them have the same functionality because you're clicking on a button, you're targeting a unit, and you're getting different results, but some of the underlying kind of things that are happening there have some common functionality, so it's scalable and modular. So I want to go with that method versus the more simple and different method, which is called like direct casting, which is if you were to tell this wall individually, like assign it to this character, and then same thing if that wall were doing the same thing, like assign it to this character. So what happens is if you're just assigning like one-to-one, in many cases it becomes hard to maintain, becomes hard to edit. So that's why I want to give a shot with interfaces. So again, we're going to start with the most simple example we can. I'm thinking what we're going to do is just set up so when this character overlaps with each of these blueprints, then we're just going to print a string and say something like overlap with Christmas tree, overlap with arrow, overlap with this geometry, and then maybe if we get that far, then when we exit, maybe a different message printing from our actual character, because that's what I want to test. I want to make sure that we can use blueprint interfaces and make it so that it can fit in different blueprints. So let's see. To get started, we're gonna open our blueprints folder. I think we need some house cleaning. These were enemy characters. This was our tester. That's fine, but for now, let's do some house cleaning before we get started. So we're gonna start a new folder. I think I'm gonna name this one just enemies. Yeah, enemies. I wonder if I should do BP enemies. I'm in the blueprints folder already. So let's move all these guys into the enemies folder. Move. Okay. And then even up here in the outliner, if I type in BPC, and if you shift and click, now I can right click. I think we can like basically I want these in a folder. I forget which one. It's not group. Attach to, no. Oh, move to, create new folder. And I'm gonna name this folder enemies. That way, when we start adding all kinds of things in the level, like for instance, that's already here. Lighting is here. Now I have enemies, playground. I have this one standing out by itself. Probably all three of these actually. I'm gonna do the same thing. Right click, move to new folder. I'm just gonna name this shapes. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I guess let's put the point light in the lighting. Okay, I'm getting carried away. So for blueprint interfaces, we're going to open our control panel. We're going to go over to our blueprints folder. I'm going to right click. You know what? I don't know what to name that yet. I'm just going to leave this. Okay, so I'm going to go to right click. Type in interface. And here's the result, the blueprint interface. It's kind of like the logo or icon is kind of like from here you can do lots of different things branching out. I think they call that decoupling. And the naming convention is BPI, blueprint interface. And then for this one, for our first tester, I'm just going to do enemy like warning or enemy trigger, enemy surface, like enemy area. Let's call it enemy area. Basically, I want these guys to start sending messages to my character, like threats, if I'm getting too close, because I could see like I know we're focusing on battle in general, but right now I just want to test this, make sure we understand it. But if you can imagine in explore mode, as I run near them, they should be firing off some of these warnings. So that's why I'm naming it enemy area, and I'm also gonna create a new folder, interfaces, because I'm sure we will have a handful of them. Let's move it. So here I am in here. Drag to tie it there. So in here, there's no variables. Maybe there is actually inputs and outputs, but I think we don't even have to do anything at the moment. We're just going to compile it, save, but we're going to find out. I know you can click on an output. Maybe we'd do that with like a print string, but I'm not sure. This might be super simple, but it might turn into a disaster. Let's find out. Now in my enemies, what I'm hoping is in the enemy character, what I don't know is if I add the blueprint interface to the parent class, does it then flow down to the children? That's what I want to start with. So I go to class settings, implemented interfaces. See if you click it, expand it, there's no interfaces. We're going to click add BPI. Looks like the default project has a touch interface. That's one common example I'm aware of that people use it just for interactions. I'm guessing that's what that is. Sorry, one moment. I didn't realize the white noise thing was near the microphone. Okay, so we're gonna start over. So from the class settings to the implemented interfaces, click add drop down and select or type BPI. That's what we named it. And then we see this below the functions is now we see an interfaces slot with the new function. So if I were, for example, I think if I like name this first like overlap tests, maybe if I compile that, this will probably read now compile overlap test. Yeah. So what I'm curious though now is from here, is it going to flow down to blueprint children? I hope so. I would imagine so. Yep. Awesome. Okay, cool. So we can set logic at the parent class, which then flows down to the children class. So that's one of two blueprints that we're going to be doing things with. The other is our third person character, which at some point I'm going to have to take a couple episodes to update a custom character, but for now, I'm not ready for that yet. So for here, same thing. Oh yeah, look, there's all kinds of interfaces in the third person character. Touch jump in, touch jump start. So we'll go to class settings, scroll down. Oh, I'm sorry. So within touch, there are 4 functions. It's interesting. We're going to add another, which is the one that we are working with. BPI enemy area. Compile. Overlap test. Okay. Oh, I see. So I can probably... Oh no, I was wondering how this is like a almost like a folder. Oh well. So now I have my blueprint interface with no functions here yet. And I have added the blueprint interface to the enemy character, parent, and the third person character. So what I am thinking is in the component, if I scroll down all the way in the events, on actor begin overlap, let's click that. Oh, interesting. I didn't really want... excuse me, I didn't really want to bind custom events. That's like what I'm trying to avoid. So let me delete that. Okay, there may have been a brief cut because I ran into some struggles, just like the other videos. So I'm going to save you all some time. What I did learn, I'll just, I guess, repeat my mistakes first. I was trying to implement the interface by overlapping the capsule component. But what I learned is the capsule component connected to the character has default preset settings that ignore overlaps. So that's why I was having issues with no print strings firing, because the code was essentially the same. And then I learned that I should work with a sphere collision instead. But before I did that, I added a sphere. Clicking add sphere. So I was again doing the wrong component. So the right thing to do for our use case is to add a sphere component, and then we can go on down from here to the scroll down to the on component begin overlap to pull this event. Then you drag off. Does object implement interface with a branch? If true, assign our, or then execute our blueprint interface. Right now it's new function. I think depending on how I edit the video, it might have been the overlap. So then, because we're in the enemy character, we're saying, hello, Mr. Main Character. And then I'm going to hop on over to the third person, and it's essentially the same thing. I ran into the same issues. But what I want to test now is, instead of begin overlap, end overlap. So the logic here is the same, except now I say main character says goodbye. So what I'm doing is using the same blueprint interface, and then which is really cool. So I'm not doing any casting, because these are completely separate blueprints, but they're each saying different messages using the same blueprint interface. And then I wanted to take it one step further. This is the parent class with hello, Mr. Main Character. And I wanted to assign a specific text to one of the character units. So for the big guy, blueprint child big enemy, he's just going to say, I'm the big guy. I'll do it in caps. I'm the big guy in red. Oh. Is that red? I wonder why I'm getting that. Okay, I'm going to trust that it's red. So now I've got my interfaces used in 3 different scenarios. I've got my third person character, which is with my player controller. And then I've got blueprint enemy characters at the parent level. And then I've got an override calling the event from here, saying, which is saying, hey, I'm a child, but I want to change some sort of function. So let's go ahead and click play. I'm going to actually start from back here. Actually, I'll just start right where we are. I push play, and you see all these notices come up. You saw hello, Mr. Friend. And as I walk around these guys, main character says goodbye. Hello, Mr. Main Character. And one of these should say, I'm the big guy. Hello, Mr. Main Character. Interesting. Didn't one of them before say... Oh, I think I'm having issues with that text. I don't know why. Oh, it's because I know why. It's because of this. So let's double click to access the colors. It's because I have the alpha to 0. That's why I thought it was an error there. Okay, let's click compile, play. Now we've got I'm the big guy coming. With the alpha to 0, it was transparent. So if I run away, I'm not sure who the big guy is. I think it's the smallest object. So if I approach this big guy, the 2 spheres collide. I'm the big guy, which is coming from the arrow. And my own blueprint says goodbye. Same thing over here, though. Hello, Mr. Main Character. Main character says goodbye as I leave. So this is cool. The objective will be these guys are going to be scoping out the area and looking for me. And I'm going to use blueprint interfaces to have them want to approach me in a similar type of logic, but it's going to be using AI. And then we'll set up even more interfaces to trigger battle events. That's going to be it for now. Let me just get something that might look like a screenshot might be interesting. Maybe on down to here. That's kind of cool. All right. Thanks, guys.